Okay, so we're in session 14 of macroeconomics. Last thing. Right now we're doing exchange rates. Now in my previous video we did session 14, but we did current account, capital account, and all those balance of payments. So now in your exchange rates, you need to know there's two different exchange rates: fixed exchange rate, floating exchange rate. Right? Fixed exchange rate, the rand, for example, will be set at a price, right, by the central bank. So other countries who want to buy our rand, whether they buy it today, whether they buy it tomorrow, it'll be the same price. Floating exchange rate fluctuates, depends on the market. In real life, if you look at the rand right now in exchange rate, one day it's 18 rand, one day is like, well, it depends obviously. Now when I say price of the rand, it depends which country you are. For example, for the United States, our rand might just be like 16 dollars cents for them, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the case. So market fluctuates, it determines the price of the rand. That's a floating, right? Now simple over here, right? Very, very simple. If you get the dollar amount and you want to work out the rands amount, you times it. See, the easy way to understand this is very simple, right? So if you know the exchange rate, so let's say the exchange rate, there we go. So 16 rand will get you $1. If I have, for example, $5, how do I know the rands? I'll just think about it logically. Is my rand going to be smaller or bigger than the dollar? Obviously smaller. Dollar is way big. So you're just going to divide it by the rands, because the rands is smaller, and you get the amount. If I get my rands amount, like 100 rand, what do? I know my dollar is going to be very, very big. So to make it big, I times it by how much the price is. 16 rand. And I'll get my dollar amount. So how they did over here, right? That's basically how you do it, right? Or you can use maths. You can say 16.01, which is over here, is $2.1. So if you get either one over here expression, for example, if you get $2 over here, you'll see how it got from here to here. That'll be 1 divided by 1601. And then you just basically, so you get to that, right? So yeah, but the best way I do it is this. Very simple, huh? Okay, so A, what method of quotation we use? Two methods: direct, indirect. Okay, so basically, direct quotation is this. If I say $1 is equals to 16 rand, or $1 is this rand, that's direct quotation, right? Indirect quotation is when I say how much of my currency is worth to the other currency. The formula is simple. Take the other currency over my currency. So 1 divided by 1601. The answer gives which is about 0.054 or something. This dollar sign, by the way. This is my answer. So if I use the indirect quotation, it's going to be this. So you see how I got it? You take our in South Africa, the local currency, and put it under, right? So yeah, that's what you basically do. So it tells you with 1 rand, with 1 rand basically, with 1 rand, how much dollar you can get, right? So in this case, you can get $0.054, and that makes complete sense. Okay, so now that's done. How much will the app cost you in rands? Easy. 12.50 times 16.01. If the exchange rate were to change to $1 is equals to 18 rand, does this represent a depreciation or an appreciation? Easy. 16.01. Then it changed to 18 rand. So your dollar got higher. If your dollar got higher, that means your rand got smaller. It weakened. So it's depreciation, right? Because now you have to pay more for the dollar. So that means your rand has lost value. How much will the app now cost you in rands? You say 18 times 12.50. Express the exchange rate in terms of the indirect method. Oh, so it'll be this answer. Well, I don't know if the answer, this answer is probably wrong. I just guess, but I'm saying 1 over 1601 will give you the answer to this. Does the US dollar buy more or less rands now? Oh, so this is now referring to the US dollar. See, read the question. Now, does a dollar buy more rands? So $1 before, how much rands $1 bought you? You kind of, okay, let's see. $1 can get you 16 rand before. Now $1 can get you 18 rand. So that means the US dollar, you can buy more rands. I mean, makes sense. $1 was 1601, yeah? But now $1 you can get 18 rand. Simple. Because if the rands went down, depreciation, you can get more. Fixed exchange rates, there we go. So what is the fixed exchange rate? So do you know the Forex market? That's where exchange rate happens, right? So if you want to buy exchange rates, whatever, that's the market for it to happen. On that market, the price of the rands will be fixed. So let's say they want the rands to be fixed at 10 rand per dollar. So no matter what happens, the rand will be based on the fact that it's 10 rand per dollar. Nothing will happen. So you will pay the price of the value of the rand today, what it's tomorrow, where it's 1 week's time, 2 weeks' time, the same price, right? That's the fixed exchange rate. Now, this actually got a lot of consequences, right? Yeah, it makes sense. If the dollar is fixed, the exchange rate, no one will buy the more dollar for the fix. So no one will buy the dollar more than this amount, or they can't buy it less for this amount because no one will sell the dollar for less than this amount if it's a fixed exchange rate, because that's losing. So they cannot make profit on this because everyone is buying at the same price. That's what they're basically saying, right? Very important right here. Remember, for this price or to this ratio to stick, for this fixed exchange rate to happen, fixed. So for this fixed thing to happen, there has to be someone controlling it so it be fixed. You know what I'm saying? So the bank, the central bank, the central bank is the person who creates the money in our economy. They call it the central bank. If this is moving, if now this fixed exchange rate wants to go down, they must do something about it so it keeps to that price. So if you think about it, every day the central bank is doing something to this amount so it stays at 10 rand, stays at 10 rand, stays at 10 rand. If the demand for the rands go down, what will that be? They'll reduce the price, right? So they must now increase the supply or something. Okay, they'll probably decrease the supply. Yeah, decrease the supply. But basically what I'm trying to say is they need to do a lot of things in order to keep this amount fixed. They can't just say, oh, we're selling the rand for 10 rand, done, and they go sleep in their blankets. No, the exchange rate, supply and demand is going to move. So they need to do stuff in order to keep this, right? So if we look at a quick supply and demand curve, right, yeah? There we go, supply, demand, the price is over here. If demand moves, now the price is going to increase like over here. But as soon as demand moves, what they do? They decrease supply. So can you see? It's now same price as it was, like 10 rand. So it meets the same, like, get what I'm trying to say? It doesn't affect the price. So that's what they do. Fixed exchange rates. Okay, so basically what they're trying to say, right? Okay, so the main concept is here. What they're trying to say is the central bank, right, who's intervening, right, they must hold foreign currencies in their reserve. Why? Because if for some reason, right, our fixed exchange rate is trying to move, it's moving, we have to maybe use our currencies in our reserves to somehow put it in the market so our rands can go up or down. For example, if in your reserves, right, there's my reserves. South Africa has a reserves. It got dollars. So we went to America and we stole $1,000 or $100 million and we put it in our reserve, right? There we go. So let's say if the price of the rand is going down, that's bad. What we're going to do? We're going to sell dollars. If we're going to sell dollars, we're going to sell it for rands. So other countries will say, hey, we're selling dollars. Give us rands and we'll give you dollars. So they'll give us rands. So because they'll give us rand, the demand for rand will go up. Therefore, the price of the rand will go up. So our price stays at a fixed exchange rate. You get it? So they obviously need something to make the price go up or the price to go down, so they can keep the exchange rate the same, right? That's basically what they're saying. Fixed exchange rate, so as long as the central bank has necessary reserves, it can continue to be the fixed exchange rate mechanism, right? To keep the exchange rate constant. But, if a country runs a deficit in the balance of payments, that means the economy is going bad. The central bank will eventually run out of the reserves. That's extreme bad. And will unable to continue with a fixed exchange rate. You see what I'm trying to say? So it can't be like the economy can go in a fixed exchange rate and forever it's there. No, they have to do a lot of stuff. So that is why in the world, fixed exchange rates are almost non-existent. Everyone is using flexible. Literally everyone is using flexible. Because this is stupid. I mean, the fact that you have to spend money in order to keep the rands afloat. Well, it makes sense sometimes to do that. Because some countries, the currency can go down. They can crash. So having a fixed exchange rate could be good. But like obviously it's too much problems, man. Or also devalue. So if so before this occurs, before they can run out of reserve, they devalue the rand. Why? When they devalue the rand becomes cheaper. So let's say now they need money because they ran out of reserves. So they'll sell the rand at very cheap. Very cheap implies more people will buy the rand, right? So more people will buy the rand now because it's very extremely cheap. So now your rand, your demand will shift, the price will go up because a lot of people are buying. So they'll restore that amount and hopefully they can take that extra money and put it in their reserves. Flexible exchange rates, here we go. This is what everyone in the country, almost everyone does. South Africa does the same thing. So flexible exchange rate. Flexible exchange rate right now, what we're going to do, our exchange rate fluctuates. Now, might be thinking, how does our exchange rate fluctuate, right? The core we learn in how price actually moves is our supply and demand. So if your that's supply moves, price goes down. So basically what I'm trying to say is demand for the rand, supply of the rand moves with the markets. That's going to be your flexible exchange rate. So basically right now we looked at fixed exchange rate where it's not influenced by demand and supply, but flexible exchange rate now it's influenced by demand and supply. So which one is better? It depends. For the USA, it's a very good country, so they can have a flexible exchange rate. They do not have to fear that the rate will go down and their markets will crash. But for a country that's poor, that's they think that the currency is going to get down very quickly, they might do a fixed exchange rate. Because if the country's currency goes down, then they're fine. Because then they can't go down because it's a fixed exchange rate. So, although there's going to be a flexible exchange rate, right? People can do us dirty. Now, what it means? Clean floating is the same thing, flexible exchange rate, right? No intervention by the central bank. The central bank saying, okay, guys, we're going to make the exchange rate flexible. Supply and demand is going to affect the price. Done. These people, what they're going to do? They're going to sleep. But dirty float, the central bank will tell her, listen here, people, we will leave the price influenced by supply and demand. But that's a lie. They won't go to sleep. They'll make a U-turn. Because why? Because while everyone is sleeping, all the South Africa people, they're going to be sleeping. The central bank will quietly influence it. So they'll quietly maybe sell more rands. They'll try to influence this even though it's flexible. That's what they're going to do. So they're basically manipulating us, lying to us. So that's going to be dirty float, right? And let's see what else. Terminology, okay. Depreciation is when you look at the markets. So our rand to the dollar. So if our rand drops, the value of our rand drops, that's bad, right? So that means other currencies are getting very expensive. That means our rand is obviously going to drop, and that's depreciation. Devaluation. If our value of our rand drops, not by the markets, not by supply and demand, but because of our central bank who deliberately does it, that's devaluation, right? This is only done with a fixed exchange rate. Same thing, appreciation is when the rand gets very strong in the markets, right? So other currencies get very cheaper for us. Revaluation is when the central bank makes our fixed exchange rate, the value of our rand, greater than all other countries. This only happens in a flexible exchange rate. So this and this happens in a fixed exchange rate. This and this happens in a flexible exchange rate. And for that, we are done with session 14, and this is now session 15, therefore not in test 2.